my love, and welcome to the channel. I am Kay, an astrologer, numerologist, Reiki master and spiritual witch here on YouTube. Listen, if you've been attracted to this video, this is confirmation that what's in it is for you. There is a message here for you to receive. And if you love astrology as much as I do, check out my moon phase planner for 2023. There are free astrology resources, a road opener ritual, and many different types of lists and interesting things that you can use to plan your week, alongside knowing exactly what phase and what sign the moon is in. Check out the description box, the link is below. Let's get into your video. Hello Gemini, and welcome back to the channel. I do hope that you have had a wonderful month of November so far. So I'm here to give you your final predictions for the year 2022, and today we're looking at from the 1st to the 15th of December. Largely what I see for this sign is a lot of energy around your relationships and definitely your career and your direction and where you're heading. I've also got for you a major prediction for 2023 and how I see you starting off the year. So if you stay tuned, I will let you know. So as we start the month of December, what we've got here on the screen is we've got the chart for the full moon and how the universe will look when we get there. The full moon in December is actually going to be in Gemini, so it will be your personal power week from the 8th of December. But before we get there, as we start the month, the sun is actually in the sign of Sagittarius, and if we look on the screen where we've got the arrow and number 1, we can see the sun circled here. And for you, this is where your relationships come into play. The sun is blessing your serious commitments, marriage if you are married, or if you are someone who is seeking a partner, it could be as we start the month, because the sun is here, which is about growth, health and expansion. It could be a good time for you to be working on that. At the same time, if you are a Gemini that has your own business, or if you are thinking of starting your own business or going into some kind of partnership of some kind, the start of December really could be a good time. So the sun will be over where the arrow is and number 2 for you in the chart for Gemini, by your 7th house. Now around the 4th of this month, this is when Neptune is going to finally turn direct. So on the screen down by where we've got the pink astrofix and we've got like a pink symbol here, this is the planet Neptune. Now all year he has been more or less retrograde, and this is the planet of soul desires. This is the planet of what we want, hopes, dreams, goals, and it's a very spiritual energy. But what often happens when we have a planet like Neptune in retrograde, which he has been, is that's when a lot of people get a reality check. And when he is in forward motion, not only do things start to move forward, but sometimes this is where we need to be careful about any delusion as well. So for you, when Neptune turns direct for Gemini, he is going to be across the screen up where the purple astrofix is. He's going to be largely focused on your career and your direction. This is your 10th house. So what I see for you, Gemini, is as we start the month of December with Neptune turning direct in your area of career and direction, if you have I should say aspirations around your career, if there's something you want to do, if you're thinking about taking it to the next level, or it could even be if you've got any kind of goals or ambitions, because this is a house that does cover that as well. This month could be a very good time to be making steps to work towards that, especially as you have Neptune turning direct here. So if you are career focused, or you're thinking about your direction in any way as we move into 2023, just know that Neptune is supporting you here, and it's a good time to be working on this. Now by the time we actually do get to the full moon, which will be on the 8th of December at 4:09 a.m. This is GMT, my local time, so it could be the same day for you or it could be the day before. The full moon is going to happen at 16 degrees of the sign of Gemini. So obviously you are a Gemini yourself, and we can see the moon here. She is circled in pink on the right hand side of the screen, right by where we have the number 2 at 16 degrees, and opposite her would be the sun, giving us the full moon. So the first thing to say is it's your personal power week, Gemini. This is your time, okay? From the 8th of December, I want every Gemini to make note of this and use this week for any kind of manifestations that you want to do, for any kind of goals, dreams, or anything important to you and yourself. because this is going to be a first house full moon for you. Full moon energy, if you've been here before, you know that I often describe this as a time where we need to make a decision, and that is because you have the moon, which we can see here circled by number 2 in a particular sign. In this context it's Gemini, and then you have the masculine energy of the sun. In this context it's in Sagittarius, just opposite her, and he will always be in an opposite energy to the sign that the full moon is in. So when you have that energy, it can be conflict, it can be tension, of course, but I like to also remember that this could be about decision making. Now for you Gemini, because this is a full moon in your sign and in your energy, it could be that you personally, around this time, as we sort of approach the 8th of December and move through this week, there could be some key decisions for you to actually make about your life. And I feel that this could be to do with your direction. It could be to do with your relationships, because you have Neptune turning direct, or would have turned direct at this point, in your house of career and direction. And you also would have the sun focusing around your serious commitments in your relationships. Now, as I said, serious commitments can be not just relationships, but it can also be anything that you are prepared to commit yourself to or not prepared to commit yourself to. So it's all about commitment as well as business and partnerships. Now this full moon week as well, interesting things are happening. So the first thing to say is that if we look on the screen, just to the, you could say just above where the moon is, circled by number 3, this is the planet Mars, and Mars is actually in retrograde at this point, and Mars is the planet of motivation, determination, drive. He will represent a person's sexual energy and their sex drive in a birth chart as well. But in this context, we'll look at him as motivation and drive. Now he is going to be conjunct with this full moon, and he's also in retrograde. So when two energies conjunct, it is about them being so close in distance that we read their energy as one. So in this context, this could be emotional motivation. So you could be motivated in an emotional way to do with something. And because this is happening in the sign of Gemini, it could be you personally. Now, what this is for you will be different for every Gemini, but you may find that you feel emotionally driven to something, and it could be to do with you being pushed to make some kind of decision, because this is happening around the full moon. Now, Mars is in retrograde, and when planets retrograde, they often bring us back to a situation, person, place, or thing. So for some of you, it could be that there is a lack of emotional motivation. Some of you may feel it this way, and for others of you it could be the other way round. You feel very driven emotionally by something, but certainly you personally, Gemini, there might be something for you to go back and consider to do with you directly around this full moon. Now, the second thing that's happening around this full moon week is that we're going to have the North Node also in conjunction with the planet that causes unexpected changes. So on the screen, by where we've got number 4, we can see circled in green, there are two symbols here. The lighter green is the North Node, which is about direction and where we're going. And the more turquoisey colour, that symbol, this is the planet Uranus, which causes unexpected changes. Now, throughout this year, at certain points, if you have been here, I have spoken to each sign quite a bit about this aspect, because the North Node conjuncting with Uranus is something that has been happening for quite a while. And what this translates to is unexpected changes with our direction. That is what the universe is supporting us with. Now, at this point, both of these energies are in retrograde. So as mentioned, they are pulling us back to something to consider, especially as we are ending out the year. Now for you, Gemini, because this is happening in the sign of Taurus, this is going to be flipping over in the chart for the Gemini chart, and it will be where the pink arrow is on the left hand side of the screen in your 12th house. Now this area of life deals with where we feel held back, or anything, whether it's a situation, person, place, or thing that we feel is holding us back. We could feel it emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, however, consciously, subconsciously. it's all about what is being withheld, basically. So if there is an area in your life, Gemini, that you have been feeling held back, what I'm seeing here for you is that the universe is supporting you to go back and revisit whatever it is that you feel you are being held back with, and make some kind of unexpected change towards this so that you don't feel held back. On the other hand, how this energy can be taken is that because we're dealing with the planet Uranus here, and his job is to just cause change, it could just happen, you know, and you may have been going through some kind of unexpected change with things that you feel have been holding you back throughout this year, because this aspect has been in place for quite a few months now, and I have spoken about it. But I am highlighting it at this point because they're both in retrograde now. So it's almost like both these energies, the North Node and our direction and where we're going, and also the planet that causes unexpected changes, they're both having a conversation saying, look, we're going to pull every single sun sign back to something. And for you, Gemini, it just happens to fall in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house also covers things like law enforcement. It covers our mental well-being. It covers large organizations that we deal with. It also covers hospitals as well. And the other thing about the 12th house is that we can often find here, or we place here in life, what we call hidden enemies, quote unquote. And I don't want anyone to feel fearful when I use that terminology, but that is what it's called. And basically what this means is situations, people, places and things that are maybe not for our highest good, or maybe we thought they had our back or they were working with us, but really they've got some kind of alternative agenda. Now, these people could show up in the 12th house. And where you're having this aspect of the North Node and Uranus conjunct here in this part of your chart, it could be that anybody who has been secretly working against you, whether you felt it, whether you've known it or you haven't known it, this could come up as we close out the year as well. But the main energy about this part of life is where we feel held back. Now, this is happening under the sign of Taurus. So Taurus does slow down the erraticness of Uranus, which is good in some ways. So changes are not so sudden, but also it's an indication from the universe that if you want to make some unexpected changes, if you want to go in a new direction, Gemini, not just you, but every single sign, the universe is kind of giving us the message to be slow and steady and very calculated with this, and really plan for any unexpected changes, because the energy of the sign Taurus is just like that. It's a fixed energy sign. It likes things as it is. Taurus, out of all of the star signs, is the least likely to do something on a whim. It likes stability, grounding, and it always likes to think about the future. It's that kind of energy. So if changes are going on, if you're thinking of making changes, if where you feel held back in life is having some kind of movement and things are kind of shifting a little bit, this is fine, because that is the universe doing this for you. But make sure any decisions that you make are fully supported and you've really made sure that you're happy to move forward. So let's take a closer look at the major changes and prediction for 2023 and how I see you starting the year. Well, definitely for you, Gemini, as I said, the first thing is that Neptune on the 4th of December is going to turn direct. So we've got Neptune here on the screen, circled in purple down the bottom towards the right hand side with the number 1. Now for you, he will be over the other side of the chart for Gemini, where the purple arrow is around your career. So what I see for you is that as you enter 2023, largely your career could be quite blessed. There could be forward movement with your career. Your reputation is increased in some way, because this is the house of fame, you know, what we're known for. So it could be that whatever you are known for, however you make your money, whatever kind of reputation that you've got in a positive way, this could be pretty blessed. I also feel that for the sign of Gemini, that if you are thinking of making certain career moves, definitely plan for them in December, and as we move through into January, then take action. You know, if that's a focus point for you, definitely work on it. The universe is supporting you, so your career looks very good as we start 2023. The second thing that I predict for you as we start 2023, where we've got this North Node Uranus conjunction in Taurus, which is circled here in pink, and it will flip over to where the pink arrow is in your 12th house. I see some kind of major breakthrough for you, Gemini. I honestly feel that as you start the year 2023, whatever setbacks, hold-ups or confusion you have had in your life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, subconsciously, consciously, whether you've known it or not, financially, whatever it is, I feel for this particular sign that this is going to release. Something is going to break free because you have this North Node and Uranus conjunction about your direction and also changes in that part of your life. But I do feel that because it's with the sign of Taurus that this is happening in, for you, Gemini, this is about slow and steady progress. So even things are unblocking for you and you may start the year 2023 in a complete different direction, or whatever you feel has been holding you back may suddenly release or start to release itself. Don't expect it maybe overnight because it's Taurus's energy, but it is happening. So that's pretty much it for you, Gemini. That's what I see for the first 2 weeks of December. Do stay tuned. The video may pop up here as I'm talking now with your horoscope from the 15th to the 31st of December, and I'll put another prediction for 2023 for you in that video based on what I see happening in the last 2 weeks of December. If you're new here, then why not subscribe? I would love to see you here again and give you another reading for your particular sign. And if you're someone who is returning, then thank you so much for the support and thank you for coming back. My only intention when I did this horoscope for you, Gemini, is that the message reaches whoever it needs to reach and that there was something here to help someone, no matter who they are. So if you've enjoyed the video or something has really helped you, please do give it a like if you haven't already, and I will catch you in mid-December to give you your end of month prediction then. So enjoy the first couple of weeks of the month and I'll see you soon.